Hi, everyone. Welcome to our SOE Hub first year webinar for registration purposes. We appreciate you joining us early on a Monday morning, so thank you. My name is Karen Lewis, and I am here in attendance with some of my colleagues. If you guys want to just say hello, you're more than welcome to do that, just to kind of give everybody a sense of who's here. There's Kelly and Jen.
Hi.
So just a note about our team. We all are major specific advisors, but during the summer, while you guys are meeting with us right now, we team advise. So if you drop into one of our sessions where you have one-on-one advising, or if you're in our WebEx chat, any of us could answer your questions because we are proficient in all majors within the SOE. So we're just going to go over a couple of different things here. I just have to move my picture panel here. We have our registration resources, how to register, which is the big thing that everybody's been asking about. And we're going to go over the transfer credit process for those of you who might be bringing transfer credits to RPI, and some upcoming dates that are going to be of importance to you as you navigate your summer before you get here. So the big question about us is, what is the SOE Hub? We are a team of staff advisors, and we actually will only be meeting with you during your first year. We are all things academic, and we're your go-to for everything in regards to your academics during the first year, and we help you plan for your future years. After the first year, you will be transitioned over to a faculty advisor in your major. So, for example, if you're an aerospace engineer, you will have a faculty advisor who is an aerospace engineer who will resume advising you right through graduation. And we do this because we can offer different qualities of proficiencies where we kind of work with you about your logistics, your class requirements, your curricular requirements. And your faculty advisors are more like mentors who are going to give you career advice and internship advice and things that will be relevant to you when you graduate. So the Hub, our office, is located in the Johnson Engineering Center, JEC. We do use a lot of acronyms here at RPI, so get ready. SOE, School of Engineering, Hub. So you come to us, we're on the third floor of the JEC, and we're located inside the Ansel Lounge. Now, the Ansel Lounge is also a space that students can study. So it's kind of a nice place for you to be anyway. And we always invite you to come in and see us right when the semester begins and get to know where we are. So we're here if you need us. So all the engineering majors are supported in our office. And just putting this here because the acronyms for your major are important to note. So for example, if you're a computer and systems engineer, your acronym would be CSYS. And you're going to see those from time to time. Not everybody writes out your full major. You're going to see the abbreviation. So getting to know yours specifically is always important to just help you understand what you're looking for specifically. Now, a question that we get a lot over the summer is actually about changing majors. A lot of times you might apply as an undeclared engineer, or you might apply as a mechanical engineer, or even non-engineering majors. You can take the lead and change your major independently during the summer. So once the semester begins, we require you to fill out paperwork. But right now, if you go to your admissions portal, kind of where you accepted enrollment here, there is a place where it says additional resources, and the change of major form is right in that bullet area. So if you click on that, you can submit a change request, and then you would get an email saying when it goes through. So if you are interested in changing your major, you're more than welcome to do that anytime during the summer. We're pretty fluid here. So we're going to go over some of these resources in depth, but the biggest thing that we can tell you right now is go to our website. Our website has a wealth of information in regards to the registration process. We're obviously going to go through a little bit of that now, but you can use this. I would bookmark it. It's constantly being updated by our lovely Kelly in our office. She's amazing. And we try to give you up-to-date everything throughout the year. So this is your go-to for everything. If there's a question that you have, you likely will find the answer on our website. So here is stuff that you will find on our website, but we want you to focus specifically on right now. Our checklist, which is the item to the left of the screen, mechanical engineering checklist, that is what you're going to be using, obviously, for your specific major. We have them on our website. You can download them. We want you to use the checklist for this registration process. This is going to list all the major specific first year courses that you have choices to choose from. And then on the right side, this is just kind of a preview of what you're going to be doing with us over the course of the year. We are going to create a 4-year plan. And we use Excel. It's interactive, and you can update all the information that you have and need right on that website to create your personalized plan reflecting any credits that you're going to bring to RPI, anything that you might want to do. If you want to do a minor, we would incorporate that into your plan, or a dual. All of those things are going to be reflected on that Excel template. So then when you leave us after the first year, you will have that plan to take with you to your faculty advisor. And that faculty advisor will check your plan and update it with you right through graduation. So we use this program called QUACS. Again, the link is on our website. This is a program that's not actually created through RPI, but it's created by RPI students, our computer science teams. And it's interactive in a way that you can upload and customize schedules that won't conflict with one another. And obviously, we're going to go into that a little bit later, but if you haven't started building schedules, definitely check out the QUACS website to see what kind of schedules you can create. So this is something that you're going to be doing on that registration day. So the big thing is you're going to have to log into SIS. And right now you should have your time ticket. Now, something I want to clarify about time tickets is a lot of students are looking at the registration status and they're like, I don't see my time ticket. It actually is a time window. So maybe that should be clarified. For a majority of the students, it's going to begin on July 14th. And the time of that July 14th beginning start time is actually your time ticket. So if you register for classes July 14th at 11 a.m., for example, 11 a.m. is your time ticket. And everybody starts and ends at everybody ends at the same time, but everybody starts at a different time. So that's what you want to know. And we highly encourage you to actually begin registration right when your time window opens. The other thing that we want to point out to you, and this is something you can actually do right now, there is a financial responsibility agreement that you are going to have to clear. And basically what this is it's agreeing to the terms of you're going to pay your bill ultimately while you're here. So right below the check registration status, which is highlighted in red, 2 bullets below that is the financial responsibility agreement. If you click on that and agree to the terms, that will clear all holds off your account for this registration process. And again, like I said, you're going to be doing that every semester. But be proactive and do it now, because when your registration window opens, you're going to rush to actually register for your classes, and you don't want that to kind of delay the process. Now, as you're going through SIS, this is something you can also utilize in addition to QUACS to actually register for your classes. It's broken down into categories, and you can look into it to actually see the real-time process of your classes. One thing about QUACS that we have to note is that there is a delay. So if QUACS tells you that there's seats available and then you go to register and it says that the section is closed, SIS is going to be your accurate time screen. So if you look, you can see the actual what is like in the square there. You can see what physical amounts of seats remain. So the first column is the actual class capacity. The second column is how many have registered, and then the third column where it says REM, that's how many seats are remaining in your section. So you can always, right before you register, double check that all the sections that you have chosen are going to be available to you when you register. So there's another way we talk about different restrictions on courses. In the event that you are getting a message that there is a restriction on a course that you're trying to register for, if you click on the CRN of the class back on the screen in class search, CRN is course registration number. It brings you to a secondary screen, and then you would click on the title of the class, and then you would see on the third screen, it's a little cumbersome to find, but it will tell you if there's any restrictions in a course. So we always advise students to do this ahead of time to understand if there's a section of something that they're registering for, to make sure that it's not restricted to you. Sometimes they're major restricted. Sometimes the class might be class year restricted. As we're looking at the one below, it says it's restricted to freshmen, which would be perfect for you. But some of them are definitely restricted to upperclassmen. So it's always good to double check the classes before you go through that registration process. We don't want any surprises, so being proactive in the beginning is always helpful. Now, once you have everything set, you built your schedule in Quax, you double checked all the restrictions, and your registration is open. There are going to be, it looks very faint, but if you look here, we have these boxes on the screen. Those boxes are going to appear in the add drop page of SIS when your registration window opens. What you're going to do is actually type in the CRNs, which you'll find on Quax, and I'll go through this a little bit in detail later, but you're going to take those CRNs, which are our course registration numbers, put one CRN in every box, and then hit submit changes. So you can actually register for all of your classes right at the same time. And once that happens, it's going to tell you whether you have registered successfully or if you got an error. And if you receive an error, we just want to go through and say, okay, what is the error? Is it a time conflict? Is the class full? Whatever the message tells you is basically how you're going to act going forward. So for example, if the section is full of Calc 1 that you're trying to register for, you could go back into Quax and find an alternate section of Calc 1 that would work with your schedule to enter that one into the box to have a full schedule. So we do have a class that is open to all freshmen, but undeclared engineers are actually required to take this course. And this is something that you're going to be registering for when you register for the rest of your classes. Now, like I said, anybody is of course welcome to take this class. It's only a 1 credit course, so it's a minimum investment of your time, and also it meets once a week for an hour. So what this is, it's a seminar-based course that goes over all the majors within the School of Engineering. And actually, our hub advisors are going to be hosting the course this year. So it really is a helpful tool to learn about the other majors in engineering. You know, a lot of times we have students coming in assuming that they want to be an engineer, but then they discover what other disciplines of engineering are available, and they had no idea. So if you are on the fence about the major that you're currently in, or you're undeclared, taking this course would be really helpful to broaden your horizons a little bit. And we can always answer questions about this. If you think that you're considering taking this course but not sure, definitely ask one of the hub advisors. So now we're going to go into a little bit of a different pace, but this is applicable to students that are either bringing in dual enrollment, AP, all that kind of stuff. So the big thing here is we have important dates. Of your time ticket was June 24th, so you want to double check that you have it. You have your advising consultation period and your freshman registration. I think we're past the the time tickets, but we'll talk about that anyway. So basically what you want to do is you ultimately want to make sure that you register for your classes and you also bring your credits in. So if you have AP credits, you want to contact College Board and make sure that those scores have been sent. Dual enrollment, it's really important that you fill out the dual enrollment form, and we have the transfer credit webinar on our website that you can watch the step-by-step details of all of that. So primarily that is really what you're going to focus on, and we can always answer questions about the transfer credit process. And if you have questions, feel free to put them all in the chat because we're going to address them at the end of the presentation. But I first want to show you kind of what it looks like to build a schedule and you know, actually do the process of what you're going to be doing while you're building schedules right now. So if you don't have the SOE Hub bookmarked, I just Google SOE Hub right in the search engine, and it's the first thing that comes up. So primarily, this is what I'm going to do here. And if you go to the side menu, class of 2029 are you guys? And now we're here. Now you can always email us. This is something really important. And also, if you haven't done all of the Percipio checklist, information systems, all of those things, here is the FYE website, so you can check back on what you have to do still. Now, we have our webinar schedule. We're in this right now. We have one more webinar tonight. And then we also are hosting drop-ins. And this is important for you guys to know too, because a lot of students are interested in meeting with us one-on-one to double check that they're on the right track. And this is perfectly fine. We do have a long list of dates of availability where you can meet with us. We do have drop-ins today. And you can only sign up for drop-ins when the form is physically open. Otherwise, you're going to get a message that the form is closed. So today, for example, drop-ins will start at 10 o'clock, and that's when the form will physically be open. You sign up for a drop-in session. Somebody will message you on WebEx and then give you a link for you to join that virtual platform. Now, what we're going to focus on really right here is our course registration checklist. So I click on this and it brings me to Box. And ultimately, like I said, you want to have those prefixes of what your major is listed in your head so you know specifically which ones to choose for you or which one to choose for you. I'm going to use civil for this example. And what you're going to do is you're going to download the form. Now, I'm not going to download it right now, but if you look here, you can see all of the information that you need. And depending on what credits you're bringing into RPI is going to determine what your schedule looks like. Now, we have a couple of highlighted courses here that, okay, it looks like you're going to have to register for those classes. So, for example, Introduction to Engineering Analysis, Engineering 1100 is a required course for fall, and Civil 1200 again is required. Now, here we have Calc 1 who says, and it says must be completed in fall. However, if you did bring in credit or anticipate bringing credit into RPI for Calc 1, whether you fulfilled it with AP, Cambridge, IB, or dual enrollment, whatever it is, you're going to actually move on to Calc 2. And we do encourage you to take a math class in your first semester. So if you have fulfilled the credit for Calc 1, we would take Calc 2. And if you fulfilled the credit for Calc 2, in this situation, you would move on to differential equations. Now, if you keep scrolling down, we have Haas inquiries, which is another acronym. Haas stands for Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences. That is another option that we can do. We encourage all students to look at the Haas inquiries during their first semester to register for one of those courses. In the event that you can't get into the Haas inquiry that you want, there are options in the spring as well. And you are required to fulfill a Haas inquiry course before the end of your first year. So in the event that you can't get it for fall, you're definitely going to do it in spring. Now, if you keep scrolling down, we do give you somewhat of an example schedule of what potentially your classes are going to look like this fall. So this is a variation that you can choose. And for me specifically, I'm going to use the example to kind of build a schedule in Quack so you can kind of see the nuance of the website. So again, you're going to pay attention to your prefixes and your course numbers. And if we go to Quacks, you're going to probably refresh this screen multiple times for whatever reason. Quacks is a little bit quirky in its own sense, but this is your main menu. And then you're going to look for those prefixes. So for example, Introduction to Engineering Analysis was the ENGR prefix. I click on that, and I'm going to click. Now you have 4 sections. You can click all of them by toggling, and then you can actually go up into the corner where the schedule button is, and you're going to see that I selected all 4. Where are they? If you arrow, you're going to see each section and what times it populates on your schedule grid. Now we go back to the main menu and we could choose civil because we needed civil 1200, which is over here. And we only have 1 section, so that's an easy one to just choose. And then I'm going to go relatively quickly, but I'm going to look for math. And I'm going to register for Calc 1, which has many sections. Now, say, for example, you're an athlete and you need to make sure that your schedule ends by 4 o'clock for practice. All of these look like they do, but if there was a course that went beyond that time, you could toggle sections and then take a random one out if you didn't want to include that for whatever reason. So this is the way you can kind of customize your creation of your schedule. But for this purpose, I'm going to use all of them. So now we have Calc, we have IEA, we have our Civil CAD, which is all the way down here. We're also going to register for chemistry, which for you guys, it would be chemistry, principles of chemistry. Most majors take that particular course. I'm going to, again, toggle all sections. Now for this one specifically, if you were an athlete and you had to be done by 4 o'clock, this section wouldn't be conducive. So I'm going to take the ones that are not out, just to use as an example. So now I have a bunch of different schedule options. It says I have 56 total. I'm also going to look at the Haas inquiries. So that is under INQR. And as I'm going through, there is a course description of all the classes. And it also tells you if they're communication intensive, their attributes are listed on the top. Now, for me, I might choose sustainability debates because I think that sounds interesting, and I'm going to click it and I'm going to put it in my schedule. Now, if anything is highlighted in red, that means that it's got a conflict with something else that's on your schedule. So you're either going to have to move things around or you're going to have to pick a different course. And if there's major specific courses that are scheduled conflicts for you, definitely reach out to us because we're willing to help you navigate that. So now I'm down to 32 options. And I would just arrow through. And yes, it looks like a lot of students are overwhelmed by it. But when you think about it, you have big like gaps here and stuff. It's definitely a different animal than high school. So it is something that you're going to want to navigate a little bit here. Now, say, for example, this is a schedule that you really think is going to work with your personal style. If you scroll down to the bottom, Quacks actually will give you all of the CRNs at the very bottom, which makes it very convenient because those are easily transferred over to SIS when you put those little boxes, your registration window boxes. So they're also listed here. So if you get a conflict that one of your CRNs doesn't work, that is where you're going to look at the box and see which CRN specifically doesn't work. And then you would be able to modify it as needed. So that's pretty much the overview of how to create a schedule through Quacks. This is not physically registering for classes. This is just a tool to create the schedule that you're going to transfer over to SIS when your registration window opens. So I believe that is everything. Does anybody have any questions pertaining to this process? Okay, so I have a question that says the schedule has more than one box for chemistry. That's a really great question. And I'll share my screen just to show everybody what that question's in regards to. So let me go back and share and we will explain that. So there is an option on our website to look up which section means what specifically. And it's called the class hour schedule. So chemistry has a bunch of meeting times. And that's why if you are taking chemistry, we encourage you to take it sooner than later because it does monopolize your schedule quite a bit. The first 2 things that I'll point out here, if you have 2 meeting times twice a week, that's generally your lecture. So for chemistry specific, this section has Tuesday and Thursday, early sections, it's 8 a.m. Those would be your lectures, okay? Now, the big block of time is actually your lab. So a lot of students might have the same lecture time, but labs are much smaller. So you're going to have very specific lab sections. And labs are generally a huge amount of time because you do your experiment and then you leave when you're done. Now, the little skinny area right here, this is called a recitation. And generally that is going to be time with your TA, or it might be a time where you review homework or have pop-up quizzes. So all of these are required attending sections. Now, the only one that is the exception to the rule is chemistry has a test block on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Now, that section is only going to be attended when you have an exam. So that means that you're going to have an exam probably 3 times this semester. So that would be when you would utilize that space. Otherwise, it's your time. Now, IEN, which is an Introduction to Engineering Analysis, also has a test block on Wednesday. So that would also be not utilized unless you have a physical exam. And guess what? Calculus too. So calculus also has a test block on Wednesday. So this schedule in particular actually will not have any scheduled class on Wednesday unless you physically have an exam. And like I said, most courses either have 3 or maybe 4 exams throughout the semester. So those spaces are only utilized quite infrequently. Okay. Jen, would you mind reading questions? Because if I'm going to share, I can't really see.
Sure.
Thank you.
You actually are all up to date. It's been pretty quiet.
Okay.
It might be because this is the 4th one in the series. I'm not sure, but everybody seems pretty good. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat for sure.
Yeah, we'll hang out. I mean, if there's anything specific, I know that the presentation goes through things kind of quickly. So, you know, if you guys have built schedules and you feel comfortable, or if there's any issues that you run into, let us know, because chances are if you have questions, everybody else might have them too. So it's always helpful for us to kind of know what you're dealing with so we can help you the best we can as well.
While I'm thinking of it too, we do have, like Karen said, we have drop-in hours starting at 10 a.m. So just in a little bit Eastern Standard Time. But the other thing someone was asking me the other day is if you have a one-off question that you can just type into our Class of 2029 WebEx chat, you could just do it that way too. So we leave it to you to decide how you want to do that. But really quick questions, you could just drop in the chat and we'll answer for you as well. Ooh, this says, how do you know in Quacks if a time block is a test block?
You know what? I'm going to pull up your link, Jen, and I'll show everybody how
Sure.
they can check that. So it's a little cumbersome, but it's a really good question because they don't label them on Quacks or on SIS. The only way that you can really find it out is this link right here, the class hour schedule, which is also available on our website. If you click it, and I'm going to share my screen again, I'll show you what this looks like and kind of how you can find it. So the big thing is once you click the link, it brings you to this screen, and fall of 2025 is what you're going to click on. Now, this is all organized alphabetically by prefix, so you can always do a Control F to search things, but I'm going to just scroll quickly just to show you a little bit. So this section right here is the code that you're going to be looking for. So for example, you have a lab, obviously, LEC is lecture, and recitation, this is a studio, which means it's kind of like a lab, but it's a little bit more, it's a little smaller. We have different designations for each of the courses. So when you go down to like chemistry, for example, or you know, IEA, it'll say TES. Now this is a recitation, which is what I mentioned previously. This is usually something that you would meet with either the TA, or you might have a quiz, or they review homework. This is a seminar, so these codes are all sporadic, and you can find all of them on the actual class hour schedule. So this has, here is your test block, so it's TES for test. So here we are with chemistry. You have a lecture, which basically what I said was if you have 2 meeting times during the week, that generally would be your lecture because most of our lectures happen twice a week for a 4-credit course. And then you have your recitation and you have your lab and your test block. So I hope that helps clarify it. But generally, if you do have a question about your schedule and you want us to like check it out for you, we're happy to do that. We've done this long enough that we know them by heart. So we could be like, oh yeah, that is a test block. Now, some schedules, if you're doing physics and it's a late night, you can also tell a test block because regardless of what section you register for, if there is a block that is consistent for all of those sections, that's usually your test block as well.
That's it. We're caught up with questions for now. In case you guys have any other ones, you can drop them right in there.
Well, I appreciate you hanging out with us at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. So that says a lot. And if you do have questions, like Jen said, we do have drop-in advising. You could message us directly. You could put messages in the chat, or you can email soehub@rpi.edu. All of those, where was the list of required courses for each major? That is on our website, Luke. I will bring you back there just to kind of confirm that you know where it is, because really bookmark our website. That is probably the best thing that you can do at this point. I'm going to share, and if, like I said, if you, hold on one second. If you
Yeah,
go to
she's just pulling. Go ahead.
SOE Hub, if you don't know where you're going, Google it. First Year Advising Hub, class of 29, and then you scroll down here, you've got everything you need. Our drop-ins, if you want to attend a drop-in or here, this is what you're focusing on. This is your course registration checklist. And here are all of the majors for you to download that checklist to make sure that you're registering for the right courses.
Someone asked me in drop-ins last week, they're like, there's a lot of classes here. And you guys should just know we gave you every scenario possible. So that's why there's so many classes listed in these checklists. So we gave you all the options you could possibly need.
Yeah, so as the semester begins, the fall semester, we actually will be sharing the full 4-year templates with you so you could get a better sense of what your overall plan would look like. But we usually try to streamline registration while you're not with us on campus, which is the summer, to be quite easy for you. So this is why we kind of condense things a bit to give you a list of options rather than giving you the 4-year template, because it's overwhelming to look at all the courses for 4 years. When most students are just focusing on the first year in the first semester. But if you have situations where you can't find a full schedule using your checklist, we're here. That's really what we would encourage you to connect with us, to kind of say, hey, I have so many credits and I'm running out of options here. We will definitely customize a schedule that would cater to that.
Anything else? You guys can feel free to drop off if you have some 4th of July planning to do. But Karen and I will hang out in case anybody needs anything else or a question pops into their head.
Yeah, for sure. And
thanks for coming.
Thanks for joining us this week. I know it's probably busy with the wrap up of your high school. Congratulations, by the way. And, we're going to be hanging out all summer. So even after this registration process, if there's questions that come up, you have remorse about classes you chose, you have a second time to do this in August as well. And, we're here to guide you with every step of the way. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if anything comes up at all. All right.
I think we're good. Everybody's kind of dropping off.
Okay.
Off to the next thing.
Well, thank you again for joining us. We look
Thanks,
forward
guys.
to coming to campus in August.
We'll see you soon.